I know not who you are, nor how I came to find you, but may I just say,
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Disney love interests, ranked from worst to best.
I'm a damsel. I'm in distress. I can handle this. Have a nice day.
For this list, we'll be looking at the greatest romantic partners in all the land, and, of course, the worst. If you could live happily ever after with one of these characters, who would you choose? Let us know in the comments. Number 20. Prince Florian, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. This classic movie is the first full-length animated feature from Walt Disney Productions. While it's still a pretty gorgeous feat of animation all these years later, they were definitely working out some kinks in the prince department.
Oh!
Hello.
Oh.
Did I frighten you?
As far as Disney love interests go, Prince Florian is a real dud. In fact, he's such a dud that we're willing to bet you didn't even know his name was Florian. Besides his forgetful name, Florian has literally next to nothing to do with the plot of this movie.
One song, I have but one song.
He interacts with Snow White singing once, and then becomes the 9th most important man in the story, behind the dwarfs and the huntsman. Tough look for our guy.
Wait, please. Don't run away.
Number 19. Prince Charming, Cinderella. It's the original movie that taught little kids everywhere that anyone could be a princess and nab a prince.
So this is love. So this is what makes life divine.
Too bad that said prince is sort of blah when you think about it. Prince Charming isn't completely offensive, but he sure doesn't live up to his name.
What's the matter?
It's midnight.
Yes, so it is, but why?
Goodbye.
After spending the entire night with Cinderella, he doesn't even have the good graces to remember what she looks like. We have to say, a guy who can only remember who we are via shoe size doesn't exactly sound like a catch. Literally learn anything else about us.
No, wait. Come back. Oh, please come back. I don't even know your name. How will I find you?
Number 18. John Smith, Pocahontas. Listen, the only reason John Smith even made it this high on the list is because he's a hunk. Even we cannot deny that the animated version of John Smith is quite the hottie. The hair, the body, the eyes, he's got it all.
Oh, I like her.
I knew you would.
When it comes down to it though, the romance in Pocahontas leaves us a little uncomfortable, to say the least. The whole concept of the story, Indigenous woman falls for colonizer, wasn't great in '95 and has only continued to age poorly.
How can there be so much that you don't know?
In one of the movie's first songs, John Smith calls America, quote, a land he can tame. So, you know he's got the wrong ideas on his mind. Plus, Kocoum was right there. Strong and silent type for the win.
Tell her that. She listens to you.
Sure she does.
Number 17. Hans, Frozen. For the majority of Frozen, Hans is actually quite a viable option. He's handsome, he's charming, he knows how to finish honest sandwiches. What else could you want in a man?
Our mental synchronization can have but one explanation. You
And I
were
just
meant to be.
If you don't know the turn is coming, throughout the majority of the film, it's sort of tough to pick between Hans and Kristoff. Hans's seeming kindness and thoughtfulness is exactly what makes his change-up so surprising.
Oh, Anna. If only there was someone out there who loved you.
The fact that he's actually a demented monster definitely knocks him down a few pegs in our estimation. At the same time, even knowing that, you can't deny the guy has style and loves a flourish.
I, on the other hand, am the hero who was going to save Arendelle from destruction.
Number 16. Prince Philip, Sleeping Beauty. Prince Philip is probably the greatest of the classic Disney princes. By 1959, the animators had certainly nailed down what an attractive cartoon man looks like. So he's got that going for him.
You hear that, Samson? Beautiful.
He's got a fun animal sidekick, he's willing to battle a dragon for Aurora, and he doesn't care about her apparent peasant status. Just a real sweetie, honestly. Still, Prince Philip doesn't really get enough screen time for us to make a comprehensive assessment of him.
But don't you remember? We've met before.
We have?
Well, of course. You said so yourself. Once upon a dream.
Sure, he seems great on paper, but beyond the dragon battle, we're not afforded the time to get a sense of his true character. Plus, he does kiss a girl when she's asleep. Red flag.
This is the 14th century.
Nowadays, I'm still the king, and I command you to come to your senses.
And marry the girl I love.
Exactly.
Number 15, Maid Marian, Robin Hood. You probably mostly remember the 1973 Robin Hood for how hot the titular character, an animated fox, turned out to be. There's a lot of other fun characters like Little John and Friar Tuck. And there's also Robin Hood's love interest, Maid Marian, who is fine?
Mama said she's awful nice. Come on!
We don't know what else to say. Maid Marian might be one of the most boring love interests that Disney's ever created. And certainly she has the least amount of agency.
Believe me, someday soon, your Uncle King Richard will have an outlaw for an in-law. oh, clucky. But when? When? Oh, patience, my dear, patience.
All she gets to do in the movie is moon over Robin. The Tale of Robin Hood is a fun story about thieves, and we could have let Maid Marian get in a lot more of that action.
And for our honeymoon, London,
Yes.
Normandy,
Yes.
sunny Spain.
Why not?
Number 14, Thomas O'Malley, the Aristocats. Now that's one cool cat. Albeit possibly not the greatest choice for a husband.
I only got myself and this big old world, but I sip that cup of life with my fingers curled.
In The Aristocats, Thomas O'Malley is a saving grace for Duchess and her kittens when they find themselves out on the street. He saves baby Marie from drowning, he introduces Duchess to a slew of new friends, and he helps take out the evil Edgar.
Everybody out of here fast!
He ends up moving in with Duchess and her family at the end of the film, but can we really say these two will live happily ever after? O'Malley is the definition of a roving soul, and we just have a hard time believing he can clean it up for his lady and those kittens.
Shall we keep him in the family? Of course we will.
Number 13, Tramp, Lady and the Tramp. What can we say? The lady loves a tramp, and we totally get it. Tramp has an infectious personality, but sometimes we think Lady might have deserved better.
You can never tell when he'll show up. He gives you plenty of trouble.
Every bad thing that happens to Lady in the movie is sort of Tramp's fault. To start with, he makes her feel self-conscious about Darling and Jim Dear having a baby. And his distracted nature leads to her capture by the dog catcher. At the end of the movie, it seems he's learned a few lessons, but we wonder if that will really be enough to change him. After all, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Trick! That reminds me, who is Trixie?
Trixie?
And Lulu, and Fifi, and Rosita Chiquita, whatever her name is.
Number 12, Prince Adam / the Beast, Beauty and the Beast. So, okay, yeah, the Beast does learn to be a little less abrasive as the film goes on. But honestly, emphasis on little.
There's something sweet and almost kind, but he was mean and he was coarse and unrefined.
It's totally understandable that if a wicked enchantress put a curse on you, you might be a tad grumpy. But the way the Beast treats Belle is often inexcusable.
You can't stay in there forever.
Yes, I can.
Fine. Then go ahead and starve!
He deliberately tries to frighten her, he forces her to do things she doesn't want to do, and he literally imprisons her in his house. Sure, he grows a lot and the two end up falling in love, which brings us to his transformation into Prince Adam, which, for some, is underwhelming to say the least. But we can all agree that those eyes are very striking.
It is you!
Number 11, Prince Eric, The Little Mermaid. Prince Eric is, without a doubt, one of the hottest Disney princes to ever grace our screens.
He's very handsome, isn't he?
I don't know, he looks kind of hairy and slobbery to me.
Not that one. one playing the snarf blend.
But sometimes looks aren't everything. In the brains department, Eric was certainly a little lacking. We get it, he was a little out of it when Ariel saved him from that shipwreck, but you're telling us he didn't remember her face at all? He wasn't a little confused when this girl showed up out of the blue, miming that she lost her voice?
You can't speak? Oh, then you couldn't be who I thought.
A lot of these questions are a product of the plot of the film, so we don't want to belabor it too much. However, it does make us question our dear Prince Eric's critical thinking skills. He is a dog lover though, so maybe that evens things out.
Eric, I think you swallowed a bit too much seawater. Off we go. On next.
Number 10, Princess Kida, Atlantis: The Lost Empire.
My name is Kira Gakash.
Kiramashnaga. Hey, you got a nickname?
Kida.
Okay, Kida. I can remember that.
This early 2000s Disney movie wasn't very popular in its time, but has gained traction as a cult classic in the years since its release. Milo, the film's protagonist, has earned a lot of love as an underrated hunk. However, Princess Kida might just be the true star of this film.
Look, I have some questions for you, and I'm not leaving the city until they're answered yet.
Kida is definitely one of the hotter love interests in Disney history, but she's also just plain cool. If anything, we wish she just had a smidge more agency in the film. She spends a lot of the runtime merged with a magic crystal, and Milo is tasked with saving her. Overall, her bright personality and take-charge nature push her ahead.
Pardon, mademoiselle. Voulez-vous...
I like her.
Number 9, Jane Porter, Tarzan. We stan an intellectual queen.
There you go, what do you think?
Tarzan is probably best remembered for its stellar Phil Collins soundtrack. Seriously, he didn't have to go that hard. Today, though, we want to honor one of the more clever, quirky love interests in our Disney canon.
Oh, I can't do this. I can't. Oh, this is good. This is very good. Wait. 1, 2.
Jane Porter is one of the few female Disney women not fully defined by her looks or her feistiness, but by her wits. She is genuinely interested in Tarzan outside of his capacity as an object of study, and their love story feels fully formed. Her one flaw is probably not realizing that Clayton wasn't to be trusted early on, but hey, nobody's perfect.
My father and I came on this expedition to study gorillas, and I believe your shooting might be scaring them off.
Number 8, Nala, the Lion King.
Your parents will be thrilled. What with your being betrothed and all?
Be what?
Betrothed. Intended. Affianced.
Even if we didn't love Nala as much as we did, she would have to go down in Disney history for her inclusion in not one, but 2 Disney musical classics. I Just Can't Wait to Be King and Can You Feel the Love Tonight are 2 of the best in the company's canon, point blank.
Why won't he be the king I know he is, the king I see inside?
Besides those impressive bona fides, Nala is a catch all on her own. We'll admit, she's not in the movie a whole lot, and many of her scenes serve only to push the narrative and Simba along. Nevertheless, she's such a strong, wise character all on her own, in a way we didn't often get to see female Disney characters in the 90s be.
Pinja, hey, let me up. Pinja again.
Number 7, David Kavena, Lilo and Stitch. Perhaps the most underrated love interest on this list, David is one of the high points in Lilo and Stitch.
She likes her butt and fancy hair. I know. I read her diary.
She thinks it's fancy?
The movie is already a gem, with a great friendship story and wonderful things to say about sisterhood. These 2 themes would have been enough for us, but the creators thankfully gave us David as well. David is the love interest for Nani, Lilo's older sister, and is probably the most helpful man Disney has ever created.
I might not be a doctor, but I know that there's no better cure for a sour face than a couple of boards and some choice waves. What you think?
He helps Nani find jobs, he helps her deal with raising Lilo, and he's a pretty amazing surrogate brother to Lilo herself while he's at it. Plus, we've never seen a guy catch a wave or sling a flame quite like David Kavena can.
Did you catch fire again?
Nah, just the stage.
Number 6. Prince Naveen, The Princess and the Frog. Naveen might start out more than a little conceited, but you would be hard-pressed to find a Disney love interest who goes through a bigger transformation than he does, in more ways than one.
All I know is 1 minute I am a prince, charming and handsome, cutting a rug, and then the next thing I know, I'm tripping over these.
While he and Tiana are both frogs, they search desperately for a way to return to human form. Even though Naveen doesn't want to kiss Charlotte, he knows that Tiana will never achieve her dream of opening her own restaurant if she stays an amphibian.
A dream that it is so beautiful. I promise I will do whatever it takes to make it come true.
This selflessness is something we're not sure he had at the beginning of the movie. Prince Naveen is a fun, jubilant soul, and there's nothing we love more than character development.
You just kissed yourself a princess.
And I'm about to do it again.
Number 5. Princess Jasmine, Aladdin. Aladdin and Princess Jasmine might be the hottest couple Disney's ever produced. A princess with a strong will of her own, Jasmine knows exactly what she wants, which is nothing but her independence.
The law says you must be married to a prince by your next birthday.
The law is wrong.
She hilariously rejects any and all princes that her father pushes her way. Sure, she ends up falling in love with Aladdin disguised as Prince Ali, but her affection for him comes from who he is as a person, not his apparent status. Jasmine's got a generous soul, a sharp mind, and an adventurous spirit that makes her a perfect match for Aladdin.
You don't seem to know how dangerous Agrabah can be.
I'm a fast learner.
Plus, her best friend's a tiger. It takes one cool chick to hang out with a literal jungle cat.
Please try to understand. I've never done a thing on my own. I've never had any real friends. Except you, Raja.
Number 4. Megara, Hercules. Megara might not want to say she's in love with Hercules, but we're happy to tell her just how in love we are with her.
Are you always this articulate?
In this 1997 classic, Meg makes her mark as one of Disney's greatest, and maybe only, femme fatales. We learn early on that she's working with Hades because she's in debt to him.
Hey, I've sworn off manhandling.
Well, you know, that's good, because that's what got you into this jam in the first place, isn't it? You sold your soul to me to save your boyfriend's life. And how does this creep thank you? By running off with some babe.
This complicates her character in a way we rarely see. She's also one of the only Disney heroines to have a real snarky cynicism to her, which further sets her apart.
Well, you know how men are. They think no means yes and get lost means take me, I'm yours. Don't worry, Shorty here can explain it to you later.
As the film goes on, we learn just how brave and cunning Meg is. Hercules might save her in the end, but she is certainly no damsel in distress. Well, she might be, but she can handle it.
I'll be all right. I'm a big tough girl. I tie my own sandals and everything.
Number 3. Li Shang, Mulan. We think it's time we get down to business and talk about Li Shang.
For what it's worth, I think you're a great captain.
I saw that.
What?
You like him, don't you?
We love a man in charge, and Li Shang embodies that role better than anyone. He doesn't really take to Mulan, Ping, right away, but he gains respect for her after she repeatedly proves herself.
You are the craziest man I've ever met. And for that, I owe you my life. From now on, you have my trust.
Even when he finds out she's lying about her identity, his anger doesn't seem to come from the fact that she's a woman. More so, he's angry because he feels betrayed. Even while he's dealing with those heavy and dark feelings, Li Shang comes through for Mulan in the end. He's able to trust her knowledge and power, and there's nothing more attractive than trust.
Would you like to stay for dinner?
Would you like to stay forever?
Number 2. Kristoff, Frozen. Reindeers are better than people, and Kristoff is better than almost every other Disney love interest we can think of.
Are you holding back your fondness due to his unmanly blondness?
Or the way he covers up that he's the honest good
Sure, Hans might start off as the most handsome and charming man in all the Southern Isles, but the minute Kristoff steps on screen, all of that is forgotten. He's a big, lovable teddy bear, and even though he and Anna don't get along right away, the spark is so obviously there from the get-go.
Catch! Thanks. That was like a crazy trust exercise.
Kristoff has so many great qualities, it's hard to list them all. He has a steady job, he loves his family, and he's a handsome goof. He might be a bit of a fixer-upper, but we can deal with that.
I could kiss you.
I could. I mean, I'd like to. May I? Me? I mean, may we? Wait, what?
We may.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Flynn Rider, Tangled. Or should we say Eugene Fitzherbert? You can't have one without the other, and we adore them both.
For the record, I like Eugene Fitzherbert much better than Flynn Rider.
Well, then you'd be the first. But thank you.
Flynn Rider has so many things going for him. He's a bit of a bad boy, which we all love no matter how hard we try to deny it. Adorably, underneath that roguish smolder is a heart of gold that seldom exists in real life.
This is kind of an off day for me. This doesn't normally happen.
He tries to pretend like he doesn't care about Rapunzel, but right from the jump, he's all in on protecting her. When he falls in love with her, it's with all her quirks and eccentricities. Should we even mention that he was dead set on sacrificing his life to free her from Gothel? Like, we're swooning over here.
You are my new dream.
Then you were mine.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.